One thing we've seen over the years in our judging is a lot of students put together fantastic solutions to great problems, but they simply don't use an embedded solution. Let's take an example. There are really two extremes here. On one hand, we see a lot of folks presenting solutions which are nothing more than PCs put into the field. Now, don't get me wrong, many parts of the world are full of PCs. However, when you're looking at a problem and its solution, we're really focused on finding problems which require an embedded device. Problems where a PC alone just isn't going to cut it. Now you might be wondering, what makes it an embedded device versus a PC? Well, there's a few things that come to mind. Number one, embedded devices are typically function specific. They're very narrow. They're not general purpose. We're looking for a hardware and software solution tailored specifically to solve a specific problem. And that usually lowers the overall cost of the solution. Number two, we're typically looking at sensory data being pushed in using specific communications interfaces. Again, not looking at a general purpose computing system, but a specific bus, a specific input system that might analyze the data that's coming in, collect it, and then do something with that to actually solve the problem. And that's on one extreme. A good example that comes to mind from a previous year solution was we had a team that created an educational puppet. It was a puppet that would connect to essentially a PC, and their goal was to promote education for all students around the world by engaging them with this interactive puppet. Now, it's a great problem and it's a great solution, but does it really require embedded? Not quite. However, if we take that same solution and we recast the problem and recast the audience and we say, hey, why don't we focus on students in remote areas, remote villages, where maybe a PC is simply not an option, where maybe power is not consistent? Well, in that case, they might be able to come up with a pure embedded solution running similar software that allows the users to charge them, take them remotely in the field, have a ruggedized solution so it won't be damaged due to adverse weather conditions, and actually be more durable and sustainable out in the field. In that case, that project is actually looking a lot more like an embedded solution. So that's one extreme. On the other hand, we also see in many years and many solutions, folks putting together complex, sophisticated hardware that are based on microcontrollers. Now, in those cases, that's a great solution. If a microcontroller can do the job, those are really cheap. Adding Windows Embedded to that is not really adding a lot of value if all the solution really requires is nothing more than a programmable logic controller. So why increase the cost by using Windows Embedded when a simpler solution can do? That's something you also want to avoid. So in short, you might have a great problem, you might have a great solution, but if it's not embedded, you might want to think about entering the software design competition instead.